The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome in.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yay.
Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And like she said, here we are.
Yeah.
First day of 2020.
2020.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
I feel good about this one.
Yes, I do too. I think it'll be a good year.
We've said that before.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone has their ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Overall, I have a good feeling about this.
Yeah.
It's a good double number.
You know, it really is what you make of it because there's going to be downs in every year.
Yeah.
Every year. So, I don't know. Good years, bad years. I don't know. Can you really say one year's better than the other? I mean, I've had years that have stood out. Yeah.
Right.
But for the most part, they all have their ups and downs, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Knock on wood. This is going to be a good one.
I think so. Yeah.
Cool. Well, so we're doing episode 38
Yes.
today. And what is our topic?
This is question and answers with the Joneses.
Cool. Q&A.
Q&A.
With the Joneses.
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, but before we jump into that, did you have anything from last week?
Last week was episode 37, which was the 2020. Yes.
Yes.
I was afraid for third. Yes, that was a good episode. I enjoyed it. We had good feedback from it. But there were some questions. I'm going to do that in the episode because it kind of
Instead
flows
of
with
recapping.
exactly.
Makes sense. Cool.
So instead, what I wanted to say is that we're dedicating this show today to my grandmother, Kitty, who died exactly 3 years ago today.
Yep.
She
Hi,
was
Kitty.
a wonderful woman. Yes. She's with us all the time,
Yeah.
just not physically anymore.
But she's
know?
missed physically.
She taught me something. Well, she taught me a lot of things. But the last lesson that she taught me leaving this life, I feel was important because I always felt like even numbered years were bad years. I've told you this before. It seemed that everybody died in even numbered years. Everyone. So my grandmother went out on the first day of an odd numbered year. And I felt like that was her way of saying, see, things happen no matter what year it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Just superstition.
Superstition.
Right.
So I'm not going to go into 2020 thinking that.
But you're not the only one that I've heard that says that, you know.
Yeah, we all have our superstitions, but it's definitely time to let it go.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
So,
think it's a good
anyways, love you. My Kit Kat, miss you.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, that's what I got for you. I figure we'll go
Cool.
right into the episode.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Episode 38, Q&A with the Joneses.
Q&A with the Joneses. So I broke this up a little bit. The first part that I did, I wanted to kind of touch on questions that listeners maybe had from previous episodes or questions for us in general about ourselves, you know, whatever, that kind of thing.
Right.
So I have a lot here. I don't think I'm going to get to all of it, but we'll see what we get to.
Okay.
So I want to start with this one. What does it feel like to connect to the other side, and do you think everyone can do it? I definitely think everyone can do it. I think it's just a matter of believing in yourself and having the patience to build it. There's nothing special about me.
The question was, what does it feel like?
What does it feel like? Yeah, and can anybody do it?
Well, a big part of, I think, that the faith is involved is that it doesn't really feel any different than just life itself. So you have to believe that the messages or the feelings and the certain thoughts that you're getting or signs, that is indeed what's going on.
Right. When I do a reading, like if I connect to somebody's loved one, I almost check out. So if you are saying, what does it feel like in that sense? Like when I do readings, I check out. I just go, I type, because most of my stuff is done through text or whatever.
Right.
When I'm on the phone, it's kind of the same thing. It just starts coming out. When I do readings, I don't know how to explain it. It's like this being plugged in is the only way I can explain it. It's like a feeling of just had this connection and they take over. It's a very cool feeling.
It's really neat that you could do it just at will. That's what I find the whole thing is enormously intriguing, but just that I can just boom.
It took me a while to learn how to do that, to be able to just do it whenever I wanted to. The first night, it was so strong that I went to bed really worried that it was never going to go away and I wasn't going to be able to turn it off and on. I think that was like one of the first things, the first battles that I had to conquer was you can turn, gosh, that was so long ago, feels like. You can turn it off and on when they started teaching me that. Wow. And now it's second nature to me. It just, so if you practice, I definitely think anybody can do it. And I think you can get to that same point, Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, good question. The next one is, when you found out about your gift, who did you tell? Were you nervous when you discovered it? I didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah, you did. I was like, ooh, ready, set, who can we tell?
Yeah.
I got him on speed dial.
I started by telling like really close friends, like my brother, my mom's best friend, people that I knew that maybe like, oh, okay, but wouldn't run for the hills, And then just slowly over time, I started feeling more and more comfortable and feeling like, well, if this is how I'm going to live my life, then I can't hide it. I can't not be me. And so I just started you start to get to the point where it becomes part of your life. Right. There's still people that like, it's not written on my forehead or anything. If you see me around town, you're not going to know. But, if you know me on Facebook or that kind of thing, then, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Were you nervous when you discovered my abilities? I was very stressed at first. I think we both were. It was very new. It was very overwhelming. But the stress level and the nervousness definitely toned down after a while, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even happening to me, but I could feel like whoa. Because I think you could drive yourself insane if you were trying to hide it. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you're just like, oh, I gotta be me. I gotta...
Right. Yeah.
And look what it's turned out to be.
Exactly.
I felt that from the beginning. When you said that, I was like...
Yeah. Because
what?
I had been selling LuLaRoe and it just wasn't going my way, and looking for that, what am I going to do next? And it's almost like it smacked me across the face.
Yeah, it did.
Like most people, if they learn about this, they might not think, oh, you should start a business, you should start doing readings. It was like one of the first thoughts, So, excuse me, I'm the one with the cold this week.
Oh, we both still have it a little bit, but yeah.
So I have a little bit of a tickle.
Terrible one, but never fun.
I apologize for that.
Yeah.
This one, you and I have talked about a little bit. Why are we taught to be afraid to die?
Yeah. Well, I think I gotta be honest. I think that comes from the whole sin thing and the being forgiven and where you're going after death. I think that for a lot of people that came up with some sort of religion or, is that the truth really kind of thing?
Right. I think something that we have a hard time remembering is that just because we don't know what goes on the other side doesn't mean it's not real. If everything that was going on there was going on here, what would be the difference?
Right.
Does that make sense? So if we all knew what was going to happen when we died, we would all fear life or fear death a lot less, yes. Mm-hmm. But there's other things that it might trigger. It might trigger some people to not be the good people that they are because religion keeps them under control.
True.
That unfortunately, that is something that happens.
Right.
Not everybody takes this knowledge and does good with it. So I definitely think that's one reason. Maybe not why we're taught to fear it so much, but why we're not necessarily taught about all of this. This is not knowledge to everybody. It's not, it could be, but it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then I have to think about the people that aren't religious, that maybe don't believe that there's anything at all afterwards. Do they fear it, or is it just, maybe it's the fear of, because this is going to end and then there's nothing left after that? So I don't think we talk about it enough.
We don't.
About what in a non-religious sense. Like that.
What comes next?
Yeah, what comes next.
Because it is hard to not use religion, I think, in that text. So some people just choose not to believe anything. It's just lights out. And
Right.
and I think those are the ones that I feel the most sorry for, because what do you think about with your life? What are you aiming towards? What's the goal? That's,
Right.
if it's lights out, I don't know. For me, the goal is to get through this life and to be the type of person I was born to be, and to help people, so that when I go to the other side, I'm a step up from where
Right.
I was the last time.
Right.
So if I didn't have that belief, if I thought there was nothing, I don't know, that would be sad.
I really hope that the next time around that I say I want to remember,
Yeah,
this part of this life, so I can understand that connection
I know, me too.
sooner.
It would be
You know?
nice, yeah.
But
But imagine if we all went around knowing everything about our past lives. We would be so messed up in the head.
yeah, it would be
No.
very chaotic. But
Yeah.
if there was just some way you knew, but I don't know how that is. I guess just like I figured it out, I always felt it in there, and I just finally brought it forward.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll tell you, you don't need to be afraid to die.
No.
Not of what happens afterwards. I mean, we all
No.
fear the actual process itself. There's nothing you can do about that. Although we will do an episode about Dolores Cannon, maybe even a couple, and she talks about how you remove yourself from your body before you die. So you don't actually feel the pain.
You can. It's
Yeah.
up to you. You could choose to feel it. You could choose
Yeah,
not
that's
to feel
true.
it.
Yeah.
It's a personal thing. Like I quite honestly believe Christ left his body long before he died.
Yes, absolutely. When my grandma died, she was in the same state for a few days, just laying in bed, it was the same position, everything, except we were moving her. So it was, for me, seeing that, I had never seen that. And I'm thinking, what kind of pain is she dealing with right now? Is she asleep? Is she already on the other side?
Right.
And it's a relief for me now to know that she wasn't there in that body. And actually, when I got to the house after she had passed, I kept hearing, I've talked about this before, repeating it in my head, it's just a shell. It's just a shell. And I realize now that was already the other side talking to me and trying to put that into my head to remind me it's just a shell.
Right.
Whatever pain she was experiencing maybe in there, it's gone. It's gone. Don't dwell on it. That kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, because we're talking about a different dimension that's not physical. So
exactly, it's gone.
There's no pain.
Right.
There's no, you can't burn.
Yeah.
Because there's no pain.
Right.
So everything that physically that's possible here is not happening there.
Right.
But I think it's probably the most extraordinary place ever.
Oh, yes. And we will definitely do an episode. Somebody had recommended that we do an episode about like the healing, the temples and all of that on the other side. So we'll definitely do an episode.
And the different levels.
Yeah, the different levels of heaven. Yeah. Next question is for you.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. This says, while playing music or painting, have you ever felt influenced or guided by the other side?
Definitely. Often.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, often.
Mm-hmm.
I have an uncle that passed away, and he was the only other, well, I shouldn't say the only other. There's two other people that were artistic in my family. I am related to Woody Guthrie and Arlo Guthrie. They're my grandmother's dad and their dad were brothers. Mm-hmm. So Woody Guthrie was a songwriter and a painter. He was never really wealthy, famous. He died pretty poor, kind of sad story. Mm. But he's known for This Land Is Our Land song, which is America's embraced that song like as our own.
Yeah, for sure.
So he was artistic. Then my mom's brother was artistic. So often when I'm painting, I'll feel this, what I used to think was a thought, like hey, I should do this. But it starts to be a nagging. Like, don't forget to do that.
That's exactly right.
Are you going to do that? Are you still thinking about doing that? And
I hate that.
You're like, okay, I guess
fine.
I better do that.
Shut up. Yeah.
Because they're not going to shut up about it.
No, they don't. They do that in a lot of things, but yeah.
Definitely with the art and definitely with the music. I feel like I really set out this time with my music to try to write something that sounded a bit familiar, like vintage, but all original.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and I have friends, that have passed that I've played music with. So
Yeah.
and greats that I worship. I think not worship, but really look up to. And I think that you can channel some of their energy and some of their vibe just by trying.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I see it happen. I've seen it. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Okay, next question. How does one practice spiritualism or any metaphysical activity? And so spiritualism is basically, if we wanted to categorize ourselves as a religion, what we would be considered. We don't like to use the word religion with it because it's not. It's not at all.
We don't have a congregation or a preacher or a chapel or temple.
I don't know. I don't know how to describe how our lives have changed in that way. It takes time. You can't just snap your fingers and all of a sudden you're spiritualist or, it takes time. You have to do research, read about if this is the lifestyle for you, if this is the way that you want to live. Do you feel your loved ones on the other side? Do you believe the same kinds of things that we talked about? If you've ever chosen a religion, because I've done that a couple of times, where do you start? Well, maybe you go to church. There are spiritualist spiritual centers.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot of research online, go on Facebook and join some metaphysical groups and just start learning, I suppose. It was a slow process for us, and it's a continuing process to, really fulfill this life. But I was telling you a while back that I feel like, how there's people that are handed over to Jesus, and you hear them say that. That's me now. I'm handed over to the universe. It's become a normal part of my life and what I talk about. Right. So really, I think it's just time.
You know what? Honestly, if it's the universe, if it's Jesus, if it's a big giant oak tree in your backyard, it could be whatever. Because ultimately, those are all energies that we're all one, essentially. Yes. So you're just acknowledging something greater and more divine than yourself. Jesus was a part of that equation. So is the oak tree in your backyard.
Yes, exactly.
So it doesn't really matter. What you're doing is putting faith in something.
Yes.
Belief in something that it's not just you put on this little ball floating in this giant vacuum. Yep. And there's, lions and tigers and dangerous things going on, and you're just left to work, sleep, and eat, and try to survive. It's so much more than that.
Yes, it certainly is. That was a good question.
That was.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Next question. This one's for me. Do you get drawn to read people in public? Occasionally. When I first started, I felt like they would throw little things at me when we were out about people. There was one night, I don't know if you remember this, we went out to eat presto pasta, and we walked in, and I got a sense of that this girl played a sport, and I thought that it was soccer, I believe. This was at the very beginning when I was just learning to use my abilities and didn't really have a lot of people to practice on. So the girl actually came to our table, and you asked her, do you play a sport? And she said yes, that she played a sport on the level that I was saying she did, but not the same sport. But so I get those kinds of things in public. Lately, I feel like I see auras around people that may have loved ones that are you could help this person. Sometimes I will get that little tap on the shoulder, but I don't really have that nerve to talk to people yet like that. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and I would always, we've talked about this before because Maureen said she made the mistake of doing that.
Yeah.
And then somebody else, I don't know if it was on television show, said I always ask now.
That's the Long Island Medium.
Okay,
I think,
are you willing to hear a message? Because some people might look at you like you're totally insane and get offended and maybe even threaten you, and that's not worth.
No, it's not. No. I will approach people through Facebook. If I see somebody that may be struggling, I'll reach out to somebody through Facebook, because what's the worst they're going to do? They're going to block me. in public, I don't want to deal with that. So that, yes, I do a lot of times have a pull. There's actually one girl, I believe she listens to the podcast. Her name's Desiree, and her husband died last year from diabetes, but he also had migraines. So she was in the migraine group, one of the groups that I was in, and said that her husband had died. And so I reached out to her and invited her to our group, and we're now friends on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
So I do have those kinds of things more often than when we go out in public. Thankfully, I like to keep my life separate from this work too, so I try not to do a lot of stuff when I'm out. I just focus on my life.
Unless I got that push that,
well, yes, of
kind of how it
course,
happens for me artistically or whatever. It's this nag,
Yes.
like when you did a reading for Jolie, and that was wild because for days I was just getting bugged. Like, you need to reach out to her and tell her that Samantha will talk to her if she wants to,
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to ignore it, and they just kept bugging me. And I know it was Richard bugging me.
Her husband.
Yeah, her deceased
husband. Yeah.
So, and then again, it happened recently with the friend that I mentioned last episode, I believe, who lost her daughter to an OD. And that I've been watching this kind of happen for the last week or so and feeling this nudge. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there again.
You get that more than I do. Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm going to feel like a
recruiter.
nut. People are going to think I'm nut, but hey, I can't ignore it if I see it in pain. And I didn't know her daughter, but I'm assuming that that's the push is coming from her daughter.
Right.
So
yeah, I believe you're right. Let's see. What is the next one? This is a good one. It says, we want to know more about the Joneses. Where did you meet and how long have you been married? I thought that was cute. We guess we haven't talked about this on the show before.
Yeah, no.
No.
1994?
Mm-hmm.
I played in a band at that time also, and I worked in Westlake at a sandwich at Subway. And you lived in the area, and her boyfriend at the time, who ended up becoming her husband, worked with me at Subway. And he was a big fan of our band. So, and we actually hung out as couples with who was my girlfriend at the time and became my wife, now my ex-wife, and now your ex-husband. So then we
went
got
to Lollapalooza. Yeah, we hung out.
And then fast forward, you guys moved away.
Yeah.
About what, 96, 97?
We moved to 95.
95.
Yeah.
And the band fizzled about, probably about that, 95 or 96. And you guys moved away for 15 years. And then your grandmother got ill.
Yep.
So you had to move back to be her caretaker. And we got reconnected on social media.
Yeah.
I was going through a separation at about 2011.
Yeah.
And you were doing the same thing, really.
Yeah, we both ended up going through our divorce at the same time, actually. I think mine was finalized almost a year to the day before yours was.
Mm-hmm.
It was very weird how the timelines lined up on that. So, I
just remember you going, Danny Jones from Contradiction? And I said, yeah. But you had black hair, and I knew you with blonde hair.
Yeah.
So I didn't even recognize it.
Yeah, it was
recognize you. But that's how we met.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And then
happily married.
Yeah, we've been married. Actually, it'll be 3 years on the 11th of January. We got married at Disney World.
Yep.
We had my brother ordained and went on family vacation, and
we broke the law.
You know what? That is. I was thinking about this earlier when I read this question. That is a really good key point on making your dreams come true, because I, as a kid, always dreamed about getting married at Disneyland. Like, come on. Huge Disney fan. Who wouldn't, right?
Right.
So I looked into it for my first wedding, and the price was just insane. Like, you can't do that, right? So then with you, it was like, you know what? I'm going to look at this from a different angle, because we're going to go to Disney World. Like, how about if in Disney World we get married, but we have our own wedding? And you went for it. And so the point that I'm trying to make is that I didn't get the dream Disney wedding, but what I got was more than I ever imagined I would ever get.
Yeah.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be getting married at Disney World, the top bucket list place for me to go, and then to get married there, but I had to compromise.
Right.
If I would have been like stuck to my guns of no, I want the Disney wedding or I don't want that at all.
We'd still be paying for that.
What would be the point?
Yeah, ridiculous.
I was almost 40 when we got married. I don't need Cinderella's castle or nothing. It was perfect. I wore leggings and we had matching shirts. It was beautiful.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So anyway, there's the long answer to your question. So
there it is.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Let's see, what other questions do we have? You are obviously music lovers, but what are some of your favorites?
Jeez.
Well, I will tell you that I love all kinds of music, but I thought I had a well-rounded music library until I met you, because he loves everything. That's why it's so interesting. It's interesting because you really can't even answer this question.
It's hard.
I don't know.
I mean,
I used to, when we first started dating, I called a lot of your music old man music. So did Marina. And now it's rubbed off on both of us, and she loves the older stuff.
Yeah. I'm not that into a lot of new, like, not even say newer music, but real heavy, just constant double bass and, thrashing guitar. That's not my style, but hey, to each his own. I do like a lot of older music.
Yes.
Anywhere from, my mom used to torture me with, curlers and bandana wrapped around with the windows down, driving around K-Earth 101. This is back when K-Earth did not play Van Halen, by the way.
Wait, K-Earth plays way worse
K-Earth
than Van
101
Halen.
used to play oldies but goodies, and that was like the 50s, the doo-wops and, that kind of stuff.
They don't play that anymore.
They don't play that anymore. So you're getting old when K-Earth's now playing Van Halen in Boston.
Classic rock, second generation, they call it.
But I like a lot of newer artists too, that kind of pull from some of that stuff. But I love all kinds of music.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to say, but I typically like rock and roll and
Yeah.
But
I'm the same way. I love Billie Eilish. I think
great.
she's going places. I love her music. It's very unique.
I've always been a big fan of Ben Harper or Ray LaMontagne for people that kind of came up from more of a independent artist or, but
that was something that I had never been exposed to, both of those two. And now I love them. We went to see Ben Harper and I meditate to Ray LaMontagne.
But stuff. As far as guitar players, I probably Hendrix, Keith Richards, and Jimmy Page are probably my three biggest influences.
Yeah.
In the stuff that I try to play. So
yeah.
So that's it.
That's a good question. I love Pink Floyd. That's like one of my favorites. Yeah.
That's like one of your big meditation songs.
And Aerosmith, Steve Miller Band. Yeah. I love it all, but as far as I prefer the older stuff too.
Yeah.
Not so much the newer stuff. There's only a few people. So let's see. There was a question. I didn't want to read the whole thing because I do want to talk to this person in private if they know who. I'm sure they'll know who I'm talking about. So I'd rather you just message me because it was a personal question about children and what other psychics had predicted. But the main part of the question was if your children are determined before you're reincarnated. So do you pick how many children you're going to have? Is it predetermined? I think that we all determine what we're going to do in this life.
I would say. But
I do believe that there are certain things that may not go as the way they're supposed to. So there are alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I saw a psychic, I've talked about Highland a few times, that told me that I could have two kids, that they were waiting for me, a boy and a girl, but I didn't have to have them. I didn't want kids. I really didn't. And it actually worked out perfectly because Danny has a daughter, so it was almost
you weren't
like
as much into the baby aspect, the infant. That's the part. You didn't necessarily have a problem with kids.
No, not at all.
You just didn't want that, and
the drool and the diapers.
There's a huge, if you want to call it irony, to that, and the fact that when I got separated, I thought, in one of your moments of despair of like, am I going to be alone for the rest of my life? If just bring me somebody that will love me and my kid like it was their own.
Yeah.
And so not only was it somebody I already knew, that I didn't have to, meaning you,
Yeah.
that I didn't have to try to prove myself to or be somebody I was or wasn't.
Right.
They already kind of knew who I was somewhat. And you treat her better on some levels. You treat her like she's your own.
Right.
Our kid, Maria.
Yeah, absolutely. I love her like she's my own. And I think that was maybe not prearranged for me. Maybe I had that option that if, like Hyland had said, that if I wanted to have these two kids, I could, but I didn't. And so I feel like you had Marina with your ex-wife, and that was maybe what that child was.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
If you don't have those children that are predetermined like that for you, it's not like their soul goes away. They're just born into a different, in a different way, maybe somebody else in your family.
Right.
So I believe to a certain extent it might be predetermined, but I still think that there's those different, there's free will. There's those different ways.
Well, you're an amazing role model to her, and it's something that she needed in her life, so it fit, the pieces fit.
Yeah, definitely.
What the callings.
No, it was perfect. It worked out perfectly. So I guess that's another point too, that even if you feel like one certain way, like I need to have kids of my own, or I don't want to have kids at all. Not that I said I didn't want to have kids at all when I got divorced. This was the kind of situation I was looking for too, somebody that already had a child, so that I didn't have to have one of my own to have that kind of connection. So don't discount it. If it's a stepchild, you don't have your own, you can't have one, whatever it is, your life's going to play out in the way that you've most likely predetermined it. You just have to go with it. And if you don't push things in the direction they're not supposed to go down, then you may just get what you want in the end, in the way you want it, in a way you didn't realize you want it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where's another question for you? Because my cold's catching up. Yeah. Let's see. This one says, is Danny a full-time musician and artist?
Yep, I am.
He sure is. It has been a nice career change for
him.
I'm
not a millionaire, but
nobody.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Okay. I had to take a little sip because I'm having a little tickle from my cold. I'll hold it together. It's fine. Okay, the next one. Are zoo animals happy? This is an interesting question because
it is a good one. Just
like saying, are people happy? You're generalizing. I can't tell you all zoo animals are happy. I can tell you that I have been in situations, not big zoos, knowing about these abilities. I mean, I've always talked to animals, but I've never really gone to a zoo and like sat and talked to the animals.
Right.
Until I went to that, the sloth yoga, and I talked to a lot of the animals there. This is like a conservation facility. And something that I started to realize, because I was down on zoos for a while myself, but most of these places, especially nowadays, they're not looking to show off these animals to you. They're not looking to put on a circus or anything like that. Right. They're taking animals that, for one reason or another, couldn't survive in the wild on their own, or maybe rescue, endangered. Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like rescue, but for wild animals. Is it their natural environment? No, but most of them do have something that prevents them from being out in the wild on their own.
Which is good.
Yeah.
At least then they do have a home, and they're not, kind of at the mercy of other predators. Right. Then
something that's important to remember with animals too, and this is something I have to remind myself about, is that, and I'm not saying abuse situations or anything like that, but when an animal is born into a situation, they don't know any differently. So if you have an animal that's a wild animal that's born in captivity, they do have instincts for, being wild, of course, but they don't know any different than being in captivity. So you can't just take that animal and release it. So, it's hard for me when I see people that maybe don't treat their animals the way that we do, But I realized that that's life, and that those animals, that is what they know, and for them it is normal life.
Right.
Doesn't make it 100% right. But anyways, about the zoos,
I don't think they're looking at it like somebody that's incarcerated in San Quentin. They don't rationalize it like us.
No, I'll tell you, they actually really enjoy watching us.
Yeah.
There were some monkeys when I did the sloth yoga. There were some monkeys to my right, and they really were enjoying just sitting there watching us do the yoga. So these animals, although we think that we're observing them, they are also observing us. So, and they do communicate between each other. So who knows what they're talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I did have somebody that suggested that I go to zoos and interview animals. And that is a very interesting thing. I've never thought about that before. Like, to go to a zoo and say, I'm going to talk to this giraffe, and then just write down everything that I get from the giraffe, and then come back on the show. And yeah,
that'd be cool.
Wouldn't that be cool? That was a great idea. Whoever said that, by the way. Yeah. Speaking of goals, one question we got is, what is your ultimate goal for this show? Honestly, I don't think...
To help people.
Yeah. We don't really have a set goal. I really just, like you said, we want to help people. We want to spread this kind of information to people. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to get ourselves out there. We're not looking to be rich and famous and make millions of dollars. I think that this is a great platform for me to get out there, to be able to do readings for other people. Yeah. So I guess it's really just as a platform, too, to help with our other things as well. You know?
Yeah. We're just trying to give.
Yes.
You know, in a world that feels like it's a lot of take and where's mine, I just want to try to get out of myself for 1 hour, you know, a week on this show, and that's just for this show. But to do something, because I do believe that when we sit down and we start talking, a lot of the things that come out of my own mouth and Samantha's, I'm supposed to hear. Yes. And they're important. So is it necessarily channeling? I don't know, but they're speaking through us. They're helping us to help others, just like others help me. Yes. And so it's this. I apply the same sort of concept or idea when it comes to my art or music, that I just hope that somebody heard a note or a song or a melody in there that made them feel good and made their toes tap and wanted to sing along, or they saw a picture and thought, man, that just evoked an emotion in me and made me think. Yes. That there's something bigger, you know, there's something more divine than just this physical world. Yes. So for me, I really like to focus a lot on the animals and spreading awareness on proper pet care. And that is definitely a goal with this for me, is that if I can do that, if I can change the lives of some animals, then I've succeeded with this show. Right. Yeah. And I think it's part of our journey of also trying to better ourselves as humans. Oh, yeah. Like, you know, I'm not saying that we were out raping and pillaging and looting and robbing and burning. We weren't doing those things. No. But, you know, I wasn't perfect. Well, we're still not perfect. And I'm not perfect now, but I've made a conscious choice to be different. Yeah. To try to change and evolve. Absolutely. And age gracefully. This show, I think if you go back and listen to the first few episodes, you'll even see what this show has done for us on the spiritual level. It really has. We've grown so much through this time, and that has been a blessing for sure. Yeah, because it affects every facet, you know. It does. Our relationship, our marriage. Yep. Our relationship with our kid. Yep. And our friends. Yeah. So absolutely. Let's see. Okay, so one of the questions that I asked was if anybody wanted me to predict anything for the coming year. And I had a couple of questions that were in the same similar ballpark, but I'll give you the funny one first. Oh, okay. When is someone going to assassinate the giant orange Cheeto? I think I know who asked that question. I think I do too. Oh, God. I think I do too.
I got a few people that asked the same thing. Who's going to be the next president? When is Trump going to be out of office? And I honestly, I can't go there. I would love to, but we're talking about a very sensitive subject, and the FBI men in my phone are always listening. Yeah. I just don't feel comfortable going there. Have I made a prediction? Yes. My husband knows what it is. It's in my prediction book. If it happens, we will say so afterwards. All I can say is keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not everybody likes Cheetos. Some like Doritos. Sorry. Yeah. But thanks for the question.
Our own personal taste, right? Okay. Will there be public disclosure about ETs? Eventually. Yeah. In our lifetime, and like mine and Danny's lifetime, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so because I feel like these generations here cannot handle it. It would be mass chaos. Yes. And our government knows that.
Right. Part of what we're doing is is light work, and you're trying to help enlighten people about this universe and how magical and amazing and powerful it is. But it's very vast. Yeah. And it's very ignorant, I think, for us to believe that we are alone in it. Yeah. So, therefore, yeah, I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But part of what has to happen is globally, people need to start opening their mind. Yes. And this is the new age of enlightenment. There was a previous age of enlightenment, and that was followed by the Dark Ages, where they started to shut all this information and this connection and this knowledge down. Yes. And stifle it and hide it. It's now coming back. Yep. And when you see this start globally happening on a huger scale, it will happen.
Yeah, it will. But again, I don't think in our lifetimes.
And it doesn't have to be panic. I don't think it will be panic.
No, it won't at that point. It would now.
It would now.
That's if that kind of stuff came out now, it wouldn't be good. No. But I'll tell you from a psychic standpoint, there's a lot out there that we know nothing about. Right.
Yeah. And they're not out there. They're here as far, as far as I know.
Absolutely.
They're already here.
This is a good question for you. What is it like to be married to a psychic? Is she always in your head?
No, actually, she's not.
No. I don't want to be in his head.
I mean, sometimes you'll pull cards in the morning or something for yourself, like wonder what today might have in store. Right. And they might be correct on issues if we have a spat or a disagreement or something. Yeah. But not. No, typically you're not. No. And we're pretty normal marriage, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't know. We're not normal.
We're not normal.
But
yeah, definitely not.
We communicate.
Yes.
Well.
Yes, this has taught us to communicate. I don't play games with my abilities. I'm not, like that type of thing. We're very open and we talk about everything, and this has taught us that. Right. And so, yeah, I guess for me, that was important, was to keep things, even though we're not a normal family, quote unquote, so that it was not like, I don't know, like Bewitched. You know what I mean? Like they were a little bit abnormal. I want, a little bit normal life, psychic, but normal. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Bewitched, I don't know if you could compare it to that, but
no, that's why I said it's not. Yeah. 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 But so, I don't think that, no, I'm not in your head.
No, not.
That's for sure. So let's see. This is a good one. My dad told me through a medium that he wanted a beer and not a girly one, a man's beer. Why would he say that? Do they joke? Yeah. So this is there's a few things that could be happening here. First of all, when they try to communicate through a medium, they're telling us things about themselves so that that we're actually connecting with them.
Exactly.
So telling you this is, if that's his personality, if he didn't like the sissy beers, that's him telling you, this is me, I'm here. Right. It doesn't mean that he wants a beer on the other side. It's just showing you that that's what he likes.
Exactly. Their personality there is the same as it was here. Mm-hmm. I won't...
It's not the same, but they present it a lot.
they
same.
show it the same, so you'll recognize them.
Yes. My mother was very sarcastic. I compare her to Roseanne. And she still shows herself that way to me a lot. Just so that I know that it's her as opposed to other spirits that may be coming in.
Yeah.
I know that she's not, when she says stuff to get my attention, like we used to call each other stupid. Like she'll call me stupid. I know she doesn't mean it mean. She's
Right.
just trying to get my attention and show me that it's her. That type
As
of
opposed
thing.
to your own thought.
Exactly.
Right.
Then I know that it's her. Yeah. So they do try and keep those things, those same personality things to show you that it's them. But really, it's my mom's not that sarcastic type of cynical person she used to be.
Right.
She's very pure. That's just how she's presenting sometimes, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're like the best version of yourself. So even the
Yes.
meanest, angriest person, those people still could be funny or have, certain qualities about them that made them unique despite their anger and their other issues. So they're going to present those types of traits
Right.
minus the bad because they're the purest version, their soul,
Right.
in that state there.
Right. Okay, let's see. Next question. Can people reincarnate to be animals and vice versa? I don't believe so.
No.
No, I believe you stay with whatever you are. I do believe that like a dog could be a cat or something else. I don't think they necessarily have to stay that particular animal.
Right.
I've had ferrets. I had ferrets many, many, many years ago that I believe have reincarnated. But you're not going to be like person to dog.
No.
Or there was somebody that said that they talked to a medium that said that she was once a rock. And I was like, no, you weren't a rock. Don't.
No.
Mm-mm.
Because rocks could last a very
Exactly.
and you have eternity essentially, but think of it in different levels of energy.
Yes.
Like one light bulb might be a 60-watt light bulb and the other light bulb is a 25-watt. They're different levels of energy. One can't fit in the other's socket without not working or blowing up.
Right.
So they stick in their own realm.
Oh, let's see. Funniest thing a spirit has told you. Gosh, there's so many funny
Jeez.
things, right?
Yeah.
But the one that stood out to me when I saw this question was the other night you went on a pet sit with me and you sat in the car, and it's one that I've talked about. I've talked about this guy before, that he's the one that made the light bulb go on me after telling me the house was haunted. So he talks to me every time I'm there. He's like on me.
This is his mother's house.
This is mother's house. He committed suicide and died a couple years ago. I don't think he committed suicide in that house, but this was his house growing up. So he's always there, especially when they're gone. Yes. So I walk in the house the other night, and the first thing he says is, "Tell your husband he's really cute." Because he was gay. Sorry, maybe I should have said that.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
He was gay and very eccentric and into drama a lot, like that kind of stuff. So he's very funny. He makes me laugh a lot.
Well, I kindly thanked him out loud for the compliment.
Yeah. But they do say some very funny things.
Yeah, I laughed when he said that.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll laugh, like I'll just be sitting around and all of a sudden laugh, and I'll have to tell you like what the spirit said.
Yeah.
I should write this stuff down, but they are very funny.
That was a good one.
So this is a funny question, and I think I know who said this question. What is your favorite Lizzo song? Is it I just took a DNA test?
Oh, no.
Turns out, that whole song.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, that's not my favorite Lizzo song, and I know that this was brought up because we talked about her last week. So this person said talked about Lizzo last week. But this is a funny story, and that's why I brought this question in, because I've talked about in the past how sometimes I'll hear something and it sounds stupid, and I will be like, oh, that's the worst idea ever. So when I heard Lizzo, Truth Hurts, the first time, I was like, what is this? Because I love Lizzo and I love her song Juice. That's my favorite song. We saw her on Tyler Henry. And then I hear Truth Hurts and I was like, oh, honey, why are you doing this? This is the worst song. You're ruining your career. I'm never going to listen to this song. No, I like the song.
Yeah, you got sucked in.
I got sucked in, and it's like a #1 hit. But see, that's what happens. I don't understand. Maybe one day they'll explain to me why they play those little psychological games. Why I'm like shown things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I don't know. That happens to me a lot, but that's why I kept that, because I thought that was a good example of how things like that happen. So let's see. We've got a lot more here, but we're running out of time.
We could go a few minutes over if you want, but it's up to you.
Let's see. Well, what else do I have that was kind of like, here, this one was good. Your favorite meal that your mother cooked when you were a child. Nicole asked this question. Well, I'll tell you mine while he's thinking of his. My mom loved to cook Thanksgiving and Christmas turkey. And she would start very early in the morning. I grew up thinking that this process needed to start at 6 o'clock in the morning and took all day.
Right.
She would clean that turkey with soap and water. Like, I don't understand why. And I would be up in my room hearing her scream downstairs about how gross it was to clean a turkey and all of this. And those are some funny memories. And every time I eat turkey, that's what I think of. And she made one hell of a turkey and Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
So that's mine for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the favorite. My first memory of like the smell of onions cooking was with my mom. Obviously, I didn't like them that young. I love them now, but I thought, wow, for something that doesn't taste that good, they smelled so good cooking. But I would say the favorite meal, which happens ironically, one of the favorite meals she made, happens to be used to be one of Marina's favorites, was my mom used to make kind of beef stroganoff with like chuck steak, and she'd cut it up into pieces and then use like a mushroom sauce, but instead of over like egg noodles, she'd put it over white rice. Mm-hmm. And I just loved that.
Sounds delicious.
All the time. So when I would make it for Marina, I'm not really a good cook, but that was one thing that she would always say, I like the way Dad makes it better than Mom, so
yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, good memories. I thought that was a really cute question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like unique ones. Like, they're all unique. But
they are, yeah.
Like, wow, who thought of that?
Yeah. So moving on from those kinds of questions, I asked, what do you enjoy most about the show? And so I wanted to share some of these because these were really cute. Stories about your experiences with communicating with animals or deceased loved ones. So I definitely think we'll have to do more about that. I have, great stories in that area for sure.
Yeah.
I love the comedy and the raw moments when you allow us listeners to see into your life. You're relatable and human.
Thank you.
I love how down to earth you both are and how natural the conversation between the two of you is. The next one says, everything. It feels like I'm having a conversation with good friends. And let's see, the knowledge. You are helping people all over the world by giving them knowledge.
Cool.
This one says, I love that Samantha and Danny are real. They are approachable and listen to their audience for questions and feedback. The next one says, the information and chatting. It's always great to listen to while I work. The next one says, you cover a wide variety of topics. You do your research on topics and also crowdsource info. I really quite enjoy the polls. I like how you both make the show so relatable. The polls was a mom idea. And at first I thought it was a little bit dumb, like I always do.
Right.
But I think it makes sense. It sets us a little bit apart. It gets our listeners involved in the process instead of just throwing a show at them once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to listen to those spirits. They make a lot of sense. And then the last one on this says, your personalities and the topics are very interesting. Also, you both are very down to earth and funny.
Thank you.
Yes.
You gave me tears. That made me feel good.
When I first read these, it was very emotional for me because when we started this, we still don't really know where it's going, but this came as an idea from my mom that I put off and put off and put off. And finally we were like, okay, maybe we should just do it.
Right.
And I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
I am. I'm glad that it's
Don't be scared. People that do things, take chances and put, wear your heart on your sleeve in the right way and shower the people you love with love.
Well, if you like those, here's some more for you because these are any messages or any last things that they wanted to say after this survey.
Cool.
And it's funny because the very first one is don't stop believing.
Haha.
And that's a song that is a mom song for me. And I heard it after reading this. I heard it in the car. That was like one of the next songs that I heard. So it was definitely, I feel like somebody got that little tap to say that.
Oh, I feel that every day. I feel it. I mean, trust me, there's days where, I think you and I both are like, I don't want to feel the emotion. I don't want to be connected.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up.
Right. I don't want to do this every day. Yeah.
Something just keeps, like, it's that voice. It's that connection, the same one I get when I'm painting or I'm trying to write a song, or they're guiding me. I just have to listen.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so after that, it said, I look forward to your show each week.
Nice.
Yes. This one, I think we know who sent this, but we may be wrong. Sound quality is better. I'm not a huge fan of the intro song. Sorry.
Yeah, I know who did that.
Yeah, we know who did that. We're not changing your song, Adam.
No, it's just a matter of, it kind of it's a poignant statement that I really like in that lyric, and it's not just because I'm performing on that song, or that Rob's performing on that song, or Sean. I love Adam as a person. I love his music, but I really love that statement. That opening statement to me is like, I'm tired of swallowing what's been shoved down my throat for so long and what to believe in, when it doesn't really matter because it's all your perception anyways.
Yep. True that. You're right.
We're all going to the same place.
Yes, we are. And if there's one thing that I would tell you with this episode, is that's it. We're all going to the same place. That's what I've learned. The biggest thing that I've learned through this. So
that's what I loved about that first line was the only real God is the one that you believe in.
Yep.
That might make a lot of people cringe. I'm sorry.
It is what it is. But again, that's the only person that said that. So.
Exactly.
So a couple more here, or a few more. The show is amazing. You guys should be proud of yourselves. You're inspiring others to care for each other and the earth. Nice. Very sweet. Keep doing what you do. We need you. You two have great chemistry. You keep the show entertaining. Love hearing it while I work and drive. This one says, thank you for sharing your gifts with us and the world. I see the passions in you both to spread the truth. I wasn't sold on the whole idea of psychics until I got to know your show. You're not actors. You're not selling anything. You're so down to earth. How could I not become a believer? Thank you for opening my eyes.
Nice.
Yes. That was a good one. That one got me.
That was a good one.
Okay, and then this one, we'll go out with this one, is Danny, we need your music on a Spotify playlist.
I think I know that.
I do too. Because that was followed by, Samantha, you're going to make it big one day. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for those sweet comments and for all your questions. It brought tears to both of our eyes, for sure.
Music will be on Spotify soon. I can't say when, but, again, 2020 is the year, and a lot of wonderful things have been transpiring, and a lot of work has been put into building something in both of our lives. So, we're just happy to be here to do it.
And to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that you guys are interested in listening to us ramble and talk about ourselves, because I honestly thought that we were going to be boring, but hey, you love us. What was that, Sally Fields? Wasn't that? She did like an Oscar. You love me.
Oh.
I don't know. We're talking like 85.
Oh, I think I remember that.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Acceptance speech.
You love me. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? If we go down this path and we fall on our face and fail, it's okay.
At least we tried.
We tried.
Yep.
And, a lot of people go, they're crazy, man. They're going to put this on the web and, talk in microphones and just
and
talk
air their
about
dirty
stuff,
laundry.
But maybe that's what needs to happen more in the world is people need to start talking to each other.
They do. There's a lot of things that we don't talk about. And I get told often, like I've always talked about that I'm going to write books. Mm-hmm. And I get told often about some of the subjects that are going to be in my books. And I'm like, I can't talk about that. Well, no, you have to, because nobody else is.
Right.
You have to talk about it because people need to start.
Yeah, it's not always easy, you know, but once you make that first step, it gets better. So, and we really hope, you know, for you people, well, first of all, anybody that listens, thank you, whether you commented or you didn't.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to anybody that took the time to write a comment or a question, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It makes me feel like, wow.
Yeah.
Very honored.
We're doing this for a
flattered.
reason.
So thank you. It feels like it's worth it. Even if there would have been one question there, I would have been okay. But
I didn't
there
even
was
get
much
to half
more.
of them. Yeah. I mean, really, I could do a whole nother episode.
We'll
with what I
save
have
them and
left.
we could maybe do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
And just do part 2 or something. We'll call this one part 1.
Yeah. We did get a lot of great show suggestions for things to do in the future.
Right.
That
Cool.
we'll be doing too, yeah.
So, we just hope that maybe you can get something from this, people, and go into 2020 believing in something, finding your path, and riding it. Because this whole thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that comes with this life is still a gift.
It is. Every single piece of it, even the stuff that sucks the most, it's still a gift.
When we lose people, that's hard, but that's part of this gift.
It is. It's a huge part of this gift, and it's the hardest one probably. Really, having people taken from us and not understanding it, you know.
But it makes that reconnection on the other side so amazingly bittersweet.
Yeah, it does.
So, and it will happen. Anybody, any animal you've lost, you will see them again.
Yes, definitely.
Have no fear.
There was one question in here that says, if there's one thing that, like, the most important thing you've learned through this, and I think that that's it, is that I don't fear death anymore. It's not about the fact that I'll be with my mom when I get there. That's wonderful. I can't wait for that. I'll be with everybody again, and it'll be glorious. And for me, I know that. For you, I think you know that now. And it's hard when you don't have this direct connection to believe that. But I swear to you, on everything that I have, don't fear death. Please. Trust me.
No, none of us look forward to the process, but once you're gone, it's If
I'm lying, you can haunt me when you get there if I'm still here. How's that?
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
I'll take you up on that one.
Yeah, we've already talked about this. It'd be like sitting down, eating dinner by myself, talking to you in the spirit form. People think I'm crazy. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, good.
Well, that was really cool. That was fun.
It was fun.
Maybe we should do, in, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks, do a part 2 with the other ones.
Yeah.
But really great feedback. Thank you, people.
Yes, thank you so much.
And we hope that you could start this off year great. Yeah. And I hope the best for everybody.
Yes. Health, wealth, happiness in 2020, whatever brings you happiness.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can make it happen.
Yep.
You just have to believe, and this is part of it, you know.
True that. Don't stop believing.
It's all little pieces, you know, the kindness and the belief and the faith and, you know, all that. It's important. We can't forget it because all we have is each other on this side and over there.
Yep.
So
you make very valid points, sir.
Well, we hope everybody had a good time.
Yes,
I did.
We did.
I hope everybody had an awesome holidays.
Yep.
And we hope everybody has a great year.
That we do.
And a great week.
That we do.
And until next week, peace and love.